Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a Toro dual force twin blade system, 30-inch cutting width, Toro TimeMaster with the Briggs & Stratton 10-foot gross torque pounds, a 223cc engine. That's a nice big engine for a push mower. Anyway, they bought this last year and they just brought it in for a good tune-up, so it's ready to go for the new grass season. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Okay, the first we're going to start at the bottom. We'll do the blades first. And one thing really important on these two-bladed push mowers is you gotta make sure the blades are right at a 90-degree angle at the end, because if they start wearing off, they start rounding off, especially in tall grass, you'll start seeing a streak. And these look really nice. And they use a nice little sharp edge on them. And these quills or spindles, they have bearings in them. Just kind of wiggle them around, make sure the bearings are good, and just fill the housings, because some of these have a grease circle on the bottom, some have them on top, and some don't even have them at all. But just check all that stuff, make sure the deck's nice and clean. Before we pop these blades off, just check the front tires, make sure they're not wore out. Just always look for stuff that's damaged or broke or something. Fix a problem now instead of in the middle of summer when all the shops are busy and you have a lot of downtime. Like I said, they just bought this last spring and looks like it's still pretty good shape. Pop these blades off. They're 5/8. On these Toros, they got this special blade adapter where these two little highlighted pieces. Well, on the spindle there's two notches, so them lock in there, and on the bottom side there's these two pins. They go in the blade, so if you have it off like this, it's going to offset it. One blade's going to cut lower the other. Then if you get into taller grass, it could spin, then actually lock into place. Then your bolt's loose, and eventually your bolt could fall out. So that's kind of a neat thing on these Toros. I like this. So you have to put it in them two slots in there. If you don't, it's going to be higher. Then make sure the blade goes in them two pins there. It's kind of a neat little system, I think. Just kind of on these twin blader ones, just put the blades together and make sure they're parallel on both sides. That's the way you can tell if one blade's bent or not. And make sure they have that right angle on them, Let's go over the sharpener. So we just need like a nice little touch up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and forth 10 times on both sides. That way I'll cut the equal amount off on both sides so the blade will still be balanced. See how nice that looks? It's like brand new. And there we go. Let's go ahead and put these things back on. If you work on a lot of push mowers and stuff, I made this thing a long time ago. But I used like a disc off a farm awl and just welded a pole on it, and I got some hooks on it. That's what holds the handlebar down so you can work on that. And that's a used disc and that's a used pole, and I just made some hanger brackets. A little bit of welding. That way you don't need someone standing on the handlebars for you or holding it down. Or kind of a neat little inexpensive tool you can have. The wing edge, these are like gator blades. That always goes up in the deck. Pop that into place there. Pop that into place there. And hold pressure on it. And don't put the square ones on the round ones, that ain't gonna work. Round ones on the blade. And them two indentations go right in there just like that. I like this. Wish more lawnmowers did something like that. Alright. And like I said, I didn't see no zerks down here, so maybe there's zerks on the top. Alright, let this down and turn it around. Alright, there's a couple bolt holes here, but they're full of grass. I'm going to take the blower and blow them holes out so we can get a nice good fit on them heads of them bolts so we don't strip them out or anything. It's always good to take these off anyway because you want to check the belt. And a lot of times there might be a lot of debris in there. Get the debris taken out so it don't cause a rust hole later on. And they look like a 3/8 or a 10 millimeter. On this side here, they got one right here, one here, and there's two in the plastic on the other side. I need to put extension on that because hitting the motor. Okay, and this back one on this side over here, I'll have to use the air wrench. It's tucked in under the motor. Alrighty. So it has a timing belt on it, so the blades have to be timed if you ever break a belt. Which is a good thing we took that cover off. Got a dead little critter right here. A little poison QB's been nibbling on. So yeah, it's a good thing we took this apart. I'm gonna grab a pair of gloves. I really don't want to touch them. And we got a little cap. We'll have to see where that thing goes. But I'll be back. I'm gonna clean all this off and blow it out. But it's kind of a neat little setup we got here. Oh, I know that cap goes on that bearing housing right there, so it keeps debris out of the bearing itself. So let me get that cleaned off and I'll be right back. Here to show you a little critter. Right here, hiding in the grass. Okay, got the little critters home, take it away, and got a little critter out of there, but it's kind of a neat system. Like here's your belt tightener right here. Keep this belt tight. This is a cogged belt. There's little notches on these pulleys. There's no grease zerks on top. So each, if you start hearing a weird noise in front or something grinding, that might be a bearing going out. So replace it before you have to replace the housing too. Be a lot cheaper that way. Well, yeah, these little Toros, a nice little setup they got on them. That cap that was off that one there, I have to order one. I don't have one. I'm going to order one for this side here too. They're dust caps. Anyways, the bottom where it holds in here was all tore out. I don't know if the mouse stayed it or what, I don't know. But I ordered 2 new caps, and this is a Saturday, so I'm not going to see them till the middle of next week. But like this one here has a hole in it. And I showed you that cap for that one. It's totally off that. But we're going to put some new caps on there to preserve the bearings. So yeah, kind of a neat little thing. So I'm going to leave that off for now, that cover off. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drain the oil. I'm going to use a vacuum the oil out of here because I don't want to make a mess. on this, so I'll go grab it real quick. I just got this one here at Harbor Freight not too long ago. It's really an inexpensive one. It's runoff air. I have the handheld hand vacuum pump I use too, but this is really handy, and it comes with all different kind of adapters and stuff. Go ahead and pop our dipstick out. That oil's still kind of clean, a little bit low. We'll go ahead and stick that in there. And look, a little valve right here. See how the oil's getting sucked up. Press down all the way on the bottom. And while it's doing that, let's check the spark plug, air filter. And it even has an inline fuel filter on here too. So we'll replace that too. For some reason this pre-filter folded down, or it got, we're just going to replace that. And the spark plug's right over here. Grab a pair of pliers. And you kind of want to twist this boot a little bit to break the seal. Then they pop right off. And that's looks like a 5/8 spark plug. Kept it off for now. Burning really good. And you want to gap them like 28 to 30 thousandths, somewhere in there. I put us a new Briggs & Stratton plug in there, 491055T. And push that boot on so you hear that click. Now let me go grab an air filter and an inline fuel filter. I'll be right back. Okay, got a new air filter. Press down there all the way. And on these plastic little nuts like this, make them so they're tight, but don't take a pair of pliers and tighten them up, because then it's just that much harder to take them back off. But now let's go ahead and put this cover back on. Tip it upside down on the table and get all the bolts out. And watch out so you're not pinching no wires and stuff. Just get them started so you get them all lined up. Thing's a big heavy mower. And here's our fuel filter right there. And I got the new one to put on there. And we still got to put the oil in. I got to go run to the store real quick. I ran out of oil. It's been so busy this week. So I'm going to go run to the store and get some oil. And we'll finish this up. Okay, it's got some oil. And these Briggs & Strattons, they like a SAE 30 motor oil. I'm going to put 16 ounces in and check it. I think it might take a little bit more, being it's a little bit bigger motor, but you don't want to underfill it and you don't want to overfill it. And I believe it takes 20 ounces. I use 16 already. Let's put a couple more ounces in there. Yeah, 20 ounces on them 10 gross torque engines. Smaller ones usually take 16 ounces. This one here took 20. When I put the new fuel filter on, I drained the gas on it, last fall's gas, but they must have put, either use premium or put a stabilizer in there because the gas smelled really fresh. So let's take it off the table and start it up. We'll be putting premium, no ethanol. Has that foam in there, so it's kind of hard to see how full it is. Okay, no primer bulb. Must be an automatic choke. Make sure the switch is on. Well, that's a nice running lawnmower. Anyway, I hope this video helps you out. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. And you guys have a good afternoon.